Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Jeremy Murphy and welcome to the episode 13 of 3 Feet from Gold, Courage to Change and Don't Quit. I'm a positivity coach, health coach, and running coach in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I'm joined by my wonderful host, Ha Tran.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ha Tran. I'm a motivational speaker, a published author, and a navigational coach. It's such a pleasure to be co-host with Jeremy on this book, 3 Feet from Gold. And as Jeremy mentioned earlier, we are do the I think the 2 chapter, right?
Yes.
Yes,
chapters 16 and 17, right.
And and it doesn't matter how you plan it. If you don't have the courage to change and you quit, you will not get to your destinations. So let's do the housekeeping, Jeremy.
Okay, I will do that. We did ask permission from the Napoleon Hill Foundation to present this series to use the Blab title, and they were willing to do that, but they did ask us to read a notice, tell you more about the foundation and how to find them on the internet. So here's the notice they asked us to read. 3 Feet from Gold is used with the consent of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. However, the foundation has no control over and does not endorse the Blab.im platform or content. To find out more about the Napoleon Hill Foundation, go to naphill.org. They're doing wonderful work around the world. So if you've never looked at their book series, motivational positive posts on all kinds of social media, go check them out. They're a wonderful organization.
Okay, so Jeremy, what do you think about the chapter 16, the courage to change?
This is the part that gets me is it's the change part, because change is scary, and it's partly the unexpected nature of it, and there's a fear of success, there's a fear of failure. But if we have that internal fortitude and courage to overcome that, that's really the way that can happen. But the word change sort of gets to me a little bit in a negative way.
Really? Because I always think that change or die.
Yeah.
It's a bit tough to say that, but change is you go into the unfamiliar territory. Of course, there's a fear there because we are the creature of habit. We love to be in the environment that we get used to, and we're comfortable in it. But sometimes is in order for us to get the different results, we have to do something different, and we cannot do this something different until we change our own way of thinking, our mindset about anything.
True. That's true. It does require a mental reset, if you will, and we have the capacity to do that on a daily basis if we need to. It's difficult to do something that dramatic on a daily basis, but there are moments we do have to change our mindset dramatically. Do you agree?
That's correct, and that is the decision to change.
Right.
Where that way you have I saw the picture of you and your daughter. She is so lovely.
Thank you.
And, let me tell you, some parents, they're so protective of their children, and they're afraid to have their children making the wrong decision, so they make every decision for them. In a way that they do more harm than good. Because when they are little, whatever the decision they make, that's a little thing. It's not really, if you protect them and you try not to let them make the decision when they are at 7, 8, or 10, and when they're 21, they have to make their first decisions. You see how important that is, because that kid do not know how to making the right decision at age of 30 or 21 because he has not flexed his muscle yet.
Yes, and helicopter parenting is maybe appropriate when children are very young, but you do have to start to allow kids to think and act independently, and we all have to do that a little bit. We have to not be so dependent on others. We have to develop the independent courage to sustain ourselves, because there are moments in life where we have to lean on that, or we're not going to be successful with challenges that we face.
Yeah, and I think that we are all we are all to our children that to give them the room, the ability to make their own decision, their own mistake, because see, that's how else they learn.
True.
And and again, like I said, change beginning with a state of mind, the decision to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because not every change is change for the better.
That's true. Yes.
I mean, sometimes things need to be keep the way it is, and sometimes that that you need to make some changes, and that is the decision come in.
Yes, and sometimes it takes a little of thought and reflection to figure out if that change is beneficial or not, doesn't it?
Yes, and for my situation, to those of you and to Jeremy, that my life have turned upside down, and there is a lot of change from my childhood to my teenage year, and to to have to escape and come to America. Change don't come that easy. But again, when you are in the position, you have nothing to do, but you have to change
True.
the position, change your environment, and that's what I'm talking about. Change or die, because see, change make it easier when you have the urgency in it. When the something that greater than if you have to be in the position, change or die. Change is much easier than die.
That's true. And there's a great quote that I want to throw out here. And I didn't tell you about this last night because I found it since then. But Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor, had a great quote about change. And he said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I think, we do try to change others a lot. And sometimes the changes that need to happen that are most important to us are the internal ones, right?
That's correct. Oh, I agree with that, with him totally, because change is come from within and it's beginning with us. For instance, this is off the topic, but let's say if you are a younger man and then you want to dating a girl, and and somebody as a girl want to dating a guy, and then she come into the relationship, she think that I can change him,
right?
But change is hard.
It is. You
change yourself at one thing, but you try to change somebody that is almost next to impossible.
Isn't it meaningful to maybe approach change in more of an incremental way and say, well, maybe you don't go for the full 180-degree turn, but if you can change 2 to 3 degrees a day, over 50 days, if you change 2 degrees, that's a 100-degree turn. That's still a significant amount of change, isn't it?
Yes, and that is you make a great point. I'm not a pilot, and I don't know how to fly the airplane. But can you imagine, as a pilot, if you know that you're going to the wrong direction, you just need to make a small degree of change in order for you to get yourself on course.
Yes, course correction, very important. Very important.
That's why sometimes we have to nudge our way in, because because for anything. I read it for my grandchildren a lot, and you're talking about the reed and the oak tree. When the reed doesn't have the flexibility, when you change it, it's pretty flexible, right? But
True.
if you change the oak tree, this is you break it.
You do. You're right. Yeah, so, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that before.
No, that's how I see it. That's why it's just like you have to make it almost like so effortless, but you make it just like you said, a small increment, and that is and you pretty much can guarantee success, because you want to change 360 degrees. It's almost impossible.
Yes, and the fear of that significant a change and doing it all at once is it's just overwhelming. And I think, even 180-degree turn is more reasonable than going for the full 360, unless we have the ability to do something like that. And maybe there are moments in life where we can do that.
Yeah, and I like the chapter here because it's the courage to change.
Hmm.
You know, first of all, we must have the courage to change, wanting to change, and then making the decision to change, and then the how to change.
Right.
It have to go into that. You know,
Hmm.
first of all, do you think that we recognize that we need to change, and then making the decision to change, and then we will change it. Yeah, I love the way you mentioned it. It's more increments because that's how true that is. You know that make it easier and make it more successful and guarantee the success of the change.
It also takes advantage of momentum, and you feel the success of, oh, I changed 2 or 3 degrees, and well, surely I can change 2 or 3 more, and it builds on itself to the point where suddenly you're at a 180-degree turn, and you say, how did this happen?
Yes, and then you're talking about celebrate every little thing, you
Right.
know, and you can change a little thing, you know, make a big day, you know, a big deal about it, you know, just like pump your fist and say, yeah, I did that.
Right.
And then we encourage you to continue your journey of change, you know, one day at a time or one inch at a time.
Yep.
So, you know, in this chapter, we when Craig meet with Frank McGuire,
Right.
I think it's very interesting, and the gentleman have so much to say, and you know, look at his credential. From he worked with Jack Kennedy, you know, to win the what they call the nominate for the president or at that time,
Right.
and then the Colonel, the KFC, and then you know, and then the Federal Express. I mean, he really have a lot of credential under his belt.
He does, and I think it shows the widespread ability to help in multifaceted ways. And I think that adaptability, that just that ability to be that type of agent of change, to look at things differently and figure out how things could be improved, that makes people very valuable in the workplace to have that kind of flexibility and adaptability, doesn't it?
Yes, and you know, and we're talking about the open-minded and
Right.
that and especially and again we go back to making the right decisions. You know,
Hmm.
he gets the right associations,
Right.
and you know the why he get introduced to or get connecting with the Federal Express because I think that the Time magazine written about him, you know, when he working for KFC.
Right.
Yeah, and I love that because you know in the in his own way he just matter of factly. I mean nothing so you know significant and important about that, but certainly that's a very important of the history of even the United States of America.
You're
You know,
right.
Jack Kennedy becoming president and JFK, you know, you can not go into any street in America or any town without seeing, even in Bangkok and in Vietnam. Right now they have the KFC in Vietnam and Bangkok. And let me tell you a very funny story. I don't eat the KFC in America. But when I went to Vietnam, my friend think that's so intrigued, so excited. They had to take me to the KFC, and it was yeah, you know, and now it's everywhere.
Well, there were long lines at KFC in China too, and we did eat there with our daughter. And I couldn't believe how long the lines were. They seemed longer than the United States, but then again, China seems to have more people too. So
You know, KFC is considered a fast food in America, right?
true.
But in Vietnam or in Bangkok or in China, and that is something new, something exciting, something different. You know,
Something exotic, isn't it? Just because it's so different from the other cuisine that you can get in Thailand and Vietnam, I imagine. Is that
uh-huh.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So that I have to talk about that when we're talking about this chapter, and so with do you think about Frank McGuire, the journey that he went through in the lesson? It's something that he said that made me intrigued by that. And he said, a dream is a reality waiting for you to get there.
That's a powerful, that's a powerful insight. I love how McGuire used mental imagery too of envisioning cardboard boxes being delivered, that might have FedEx on them, and what that would mean to have all these overnight deliveries, that would actually be possible. Not just to make that happen within the United States, but make that happen worldwide. I mean, that was really unprecedented at that point. And it changed, it just speeded up how quickly we could send information to each other and detached us a little bit from the fax machine.
Yeah, and the thing is, one of the new idea at that time, it was almost like eccentric. Somebody look at you and just say, "Are you crazy?" It's almost like next to impossible. How can you thinking about who needs that service? You ship something at the middle of the night and deliver the first thing in the morning, and then you turn around, you pick up whatever that is to come back to Memphis. And, and that, now it's we cannot, I don't mean we, but in the business environment or the platform today, I don't think, just like the Amazon or, Prime or other thing, I don't think that they cannot think of how to do the business without that kind of a service.
Yeah, we take it for granted now. You're right. It just becomes so commonplace that it's become the new normal. And that's how, that's how visionary dreamers like this, if they can achieve the change that they're talking about, it does become the new normal, and it becomes a part of our, really a part of our daily life for people that are depending on important overnight packages, which almost everybody's received one at one point or another, or sent one.
I will have to say that I love you, Mr. Jeremy Murphy, because you have bring me to the segue of saying that sometimes that you have the idea, and your idea, because it is so new, and do not afraid to follow it. If you know that is what you love and this is your life purpose, and is that what meant to be, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in your idea.
True.
And go for it. Because if you just going to talk to somebody, something so new, something so foreign to somebody, and they will look you up, they stare you up and down, and they just say, "Are you crazy?"
Yes.
And that it's just a thing. It's just like at one time it was crazy, and then now that we cannot live without.
Right.
Right.
That's true. That does happen, and that's the people that are the pioneering visionary dreamers are the ones that achieve the success that are covered not only in this book, but even outside of it. The Steve Jobs story with Apple computers, and just all kinds of people that are visionaries in their own way.
They are the visionary. They are the people dare to dream, and they dare to think out the box.
Right.
And because they can imagine it, they can get there.
Mm-hmm.
And because we are the common person, people, we cannot imagine it. Therefore, it never, we can never dream of something like that.
Right.
We're talking about the electricity. I'm asking my grandchildren, they think that, the electricity has come from the switch.
Right.
We can switch on and off, And there's more to it than that, because it now becomes a part of our the common thing that our life. We have you ever thinking that he tried 10,000 times, and until that he got the right combination and have it work, and now we enjoy it because we are the end user. We're looking for something that easy, convenient for us, but we once forgot that he looked like a crazy man out there at one point.
True. And I people like Albert Einstein shared similar frustrations, and, just the inability to solve difficult problems, and then suddenly you have that crystal clear revelation of, oh, the theory of relativity is this, and here's the equation, and and now we talk about E equals mc squared so commonly that it just become a part of scientific learning.
Yeah, so that's why I, this chapter is, the courage to change and the courage to follow your dreams. Right. And, it cannot be denial. Just even for the younger children, for our younger generation, for my grandchildren, or even for us, if something we can dream it, we can vision, we can visualize it. And if we go after it with all our passions, it's ours. It's a matter of figure out how to get there.
And Napoleon Hill had a quote about that at the beginning of the chapter, didn't he? Let me see. Right chapter. There it is. Yes. When you call upon your subconscious mind, you must conduct yourself just as you would if you were already in possession of the material thing that you were demanding. So that, as you put it frequently, act as if you already have it. Act as if it's already in your hands, in your possession, right?
Right. And because again, we go back to what Napoleon Hill said. Because if you can think it, you can imagine it, you can dream it. That means you already have in our head.
Right.
We all have it in our possessions.
We have to lock it there, though, don't we? Because those powerful images can stick, but they can also fade if we don't capture them somehow, right?
That's correct. And you remember when I said, a dream is just a dream until we commit that on paper, it becomes a goal.
Right.
And if our goals, then we have to have the thing that what is the timeline we want to get there.
Yes.
What is the future time that we want to arrive to that positions. Mm-hmm. Then the next question is what we must do and who is the people can help us to get there. That means what is the association we need to collaborate with. And what action we must do, we must take in order for us to get there. And when you have all written down, every morning, you woke up every morning, go over it and be committed yourself to your dreams. And if you do that, and then your dream becomes your utmost obsessions. And again, I keep on saying, just like a poet, I would say, until it becomes your magnificent obsessions, then you certainly will get it, no but an end about it.
That's beautiful. And that I would agree with that. I think we do need to visualize and recommit daily to what our dreams are. We have to see it, feel it, taste it, reflect upon it. I mean, sometimes we have to go through a couple of our senses to really get that embedded. But you're right, we do have to continue to recommit to the goals and make sure that the primary ones we're pursuing are that we're still on track.
Jimmy, our life, just go back and look at our life. Your life get in the way. Sometimes that, and then we are so busy make the living, we forget to nurture our dream and our goal. So therefore, in order for us to achieve that, we have to really, I'm talking about the T model. This is the T model. Okay, and I want to see, what the percentage of my daily life, but maybe 30% that I committed that to do every day, I need to get to my goal. And then the 70%, that is that I committed to my basics daily living. Okay. Because see, we are, we love our dream. We have our dream, we have our ambitions, but sometimes things get in the way.
True. You're right. Those obstacles pop up. You're right.
Until you make time for it. And you commit yourself to it. And you certainly will work on it and you get there. But, if you let things roll with the punch, soon enough, it just will a back row distant from today.
Right. We have to cultivate that routine, like you said, and really not let life be so randomized, if you will. That's probably not a good word for what you're thinking of, but that's the one that I'm thinking of.
But life is so current. It just demands our attention, everything is just like if you don't compliment, if you don't set some time to work in your goal, and soon enough, your daily living will take over because just say, "Hey, Jeremy, look at me. I need this. You have to tend to this," and soon enough, it will take over.
True.
And then, and if you behind, on your goal, and then this thing you keep on rolling to your basic daily living,
right?
And your dream and you go behind.
Yeah, we do have to. The difficult part of this, in my mind, is that we have to live in the present, but we have to be sort of pulled by the future, by the goals that you're talking about. So we have to find that balance somehow between the two.
That's correct. We for every decision we make today, we have to have our future in mind.
True.
The one thing. But what I'm saying is, Jeremy, we have to give, to make the commitment that you say, okay, 20% or even 10% of your daily time, that whatever you have, you will work on with your goal.
Right.
Maybe you just 1 or 2 or 3 things in order for you to go towards the direction that you want to reach.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because if you don't make a commitment, if you don't have the time slot for it, everything else will take over.
You're right.
Because
you're right.
Daily living, it just demands all of us, everything that we have.
That's true. And we have to respond in that way and can't be burdened by painful things in the past either. So, we have to live in the present, move towards the future, and detach from the past, as much as possible so we can live meaningfully in the present.
Yeah, and then that's what the way I'm talking about. I don't deny that give myself fully to live the now today. But again, just like anything else, that's how, when two people talk about balance, when they talk about balance, they say 50-50. No. To me, it's balance. If you have 70% of that, what remaining, that 30%, you want to work on that. That is how you make it to 100%. That's how you balance. And someday that you might even have 70% to work on your goal and 30% working on your daily living.
Right.
Basically. Whatever the time that it demands of us, but honor your dream, honor your goals by aside some time to work on that. Because see, without doing that, you will, if you said, "Oh, I do it," okay, here is somebody said that, not me. When you make a commitment, you do whatever it takes.
True.
But when you instead, you do when it's convenient.
Yeah.
And your goal, your dream, it's not something you're interested. It's something you invest in. It's something you do at your convenience.
Yeah, that's an important distinction. You're right. What level of courage is required to change, do you think?
I think that like you mentioned earlier, we have to see that we need for the change. Mm-hmm. We need to recognize that first. And then when you recognize that need to change and you're making the decision to change. And then when you're making the decision to change, then you do it because change is scary, very threatening because you go to the unfamiliar territory.
True.
That's why the courage, we have to have the courage to making that decision, and we have to have the courage to carry on.
True. And we have to have the courage of a lion, don't we? I mean, that level of anything less is not going to be enough, I don't think.
No. Because see, again, the thing is, Jeremy, I know you love your wife, I know you love your kids, but your dream also important.
True.
And you will do whatever. As a man, you have to take care of your family, and that means you said, okay, you're making this decision, okay, that my 70% that I will taking care of my wife, my child, our basic living, whatever that you can do with 70% or 80%. But you have to reserve the 20% to work on your goal and your dream, because if not, you will resent your wife and your kids because they take up the 20% that you
Sure.
be what you want to be.
Yeah.
But because you have to really concentrate on them, and you forget to take in care of your dream, and the resentment is killing you slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And by what I know about you, and you have a very supportive family. I mean, I think that the thing is the communications. I mean, just say, okay, just like Napoleon Hill wrote a letter to his wife. I need some encouragement. I don't know you understand it or not, or you know it or not, but I would love to hear you say that you believe that I can do
Right.
it. And I mean, if you have the communication, you said, I love you, I committed to taking care of you and everything like that, but that is my dream. But because she loves you and she will support you because your dream is important to you.
Sure. Right.
And the communications. But you must love yourself, not respect yourself, because if you cannot respect yourself, respect your dream, who else you expect them to
True.
respect your dream and yourself?
That's true. We do have to have high enough self-esteem too, that we're not putting ourselves down or being too judgmental, not only of others but also of ourselves and where we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, one of the quote from I think that I don't know who is, but he said that the credit is belong to somebody that fall in their face with the sweat and blood in their face, but somebody that do not go on that journey, somebody do not walk on your moccasin, they have no right with you. Don't give them that power.
Right. They have to walk at least a mile in our moccasins to really understand where we are, and maybe many more miles than that, actually.
Easy to really slash out there and get critical. But if you turn around, you said, okay, what if you have under your belt that give you the permission to make?
True. That's true.
Sometimes this family is the people that you love and you care about them a great deal. But sometimes the dream is something that you might not want to share with them because they don't see what you see. They don't know your desire. They don't know your everything. And sometimes it's easier for them to protect you. Just to say, don't do it to me because you will get hurt because you will not get it.
Right.
So if you have a dream, you should share with her because she will give you the encouragement that you can get.
Good. That's important. It's important that we do that for each other, and that we all have people to do that in a supportive capacity, isn't it?
Yes, and that is how important, and that is You see that way. I really want to talking about Napoleon Hill at the moment that he needs the encouragement from his wife and even the stranger. They don't believe it, but they just say, I believe that you can do it, and give some word of encouragement. Until people, when people sing and dance the song of Think and Grow Rich, until they understand his journey, until they understand his anguish, until they understand his insecurity, until they know how at the moment in life he feels inferior because his dream is so big, so grand, and then he feels so little. He's so little that he might not get there.
Right. Yeah, that's powerful. We do have to really look at people at every valley they went through, not just the mountaintop moments, but the valley moments to help get them to the mountain. Because
that shaped the man.
True.
Whatever the adversity that went through, that shaped them.
True.
Shaped them man and shaped their journey. Because now they have to go through all that. Think and Grow Rich is not in that position because he went through. At the young man, 20 years old kid, just get out of college and and just go on the journey to work for free. I mean, he gained the knowledge, everything, but nobody paid him.
True.
Andrew kind of didn't pay him. Just say you committed to, and he must be see something in Napoleon. That's why in Napoleon Hill, that's why he made that offer.
Right.
If you do that, I have a black book of all the movers and shakers to share with you if you committed to. I mean, at that point, he didn't realize that they're taking so long that much just to do it. Especially you have a wife, you need to take care of the income, you need to take care of your family. And this, do you know how agony that is for him to feel like, he's less than a man because he's not able to take care of his family at that time?
Yeah, that's a tough battle. Hey, you do, and we all do that sometimes. We get so consumed with what our career is, and that defines our entire identity. But our identity goes way beyond just our career, doesn't it? It goes into all our gifts and strengths and relationships, all the positive things we bring to the world.
Yes, and and as a woman, I would say that when I talking to my client, I talking to other female people, I would say you are a total woman because of all aspects, as well as you are a total man because you have to, because every aspect of your life, every part of you that make you, it shape and mold you into the person that you are, from your physically to mental health and spirit.
Right.
Everything, just like you are a total package. You know what
yes,
I mean?
and there's no other way to live. I mean, we do have to have that holistic, multifaceted Renaissance man or woman type of experience. And if we do, we can have a much more powerful impact in helping people.
Yes, and then if you look at that way, you don't have to try too hard. Just be yourself.
True.
And be is good enough because every day you cultivate, you mold yourself, and you shape yourself, and then and that is when they talking about the opportunity meet with preparation to become you are a lucky person or something. But because every day of your life, look at that journey, thinking about that. You have to prepare for whatever that is. When the opportunity comes, as a moment notice, you can step in and be brilliant about it because you prepare all your life.
Yes. It's a great insight. We do have to have that amount of confidence, and if we lack that, we're not going to make the right decision. And I'm glad you brought up authenticity because, boy, if we're not ourselves, our courage isn't even real. It's fake, it's feigned. But if we're really ourselves and living an authentic life, then the courage that we bring to that daily journey is going to be real and reinforced by our experience and practical wisdom and knowledge that we've gained from each other.
One more thing before we close on this. Yesterday you did asking me a question about act of as if. Can we? What's something about the confidence? What is it? How you asking me that question?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I wrote that down or not.
How the confident you cannot act as if.
Yeah, it was right.
For you to really open chest and then just walk in there confidently, act as if. Without confidence, you will your body language say a lot more. And in the past, I have said, I hear you saying, and your body language tell me something. For every given moment, I will listen to your body language more than saying, because that's confidence.
Yes, we do have to have that, or the acting as if is just it has to be more than faking it. It has to be really envisioning it, believing it, and living it.
Yeah. You remember that I just hate it when people said that fake it until you make it. No. Step into that vision and grow yourself into that vision. You just cannot fake it.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. So Jeremy, I think that we were so interested in talking about the change and the courage to change everything, and the time is we went more than what we're expecting to. But anyway, so what next for the next episode?
Well, the next episode is based on the courage to succeed and Rolodex wisdom. It'll be episode 14. And let's see. I think it's important. Sometimes we do reach those moments in life where we want to give up. We want to throw in the towel. We just feel like we can't do it, and we've got to remember we can't quit. We've got to quitters never win, winners never quit. We have to not quit.
That's correct, because I do know that I love my father, and I will say this. My father always said that if you quit, you fail.
True.
And as a runner, he will say, I have in my book too, he said that if you are a runner or you do whatever, that imagining that your goal, if you didn't hit the dotted line, that means you didn't hit the finish line, you forfeit a chance to be a champion.
Wow. It's powerful.
Okay, so that's it for us, Jeremy, until next Wednesday. And I hope that we have more viewers, at the replays, something like that, because we are going to do the podcast for that. You see that? I just bought that. This is the ice blue or something.
Oh, awesome!
And, yeah. Did you hear my voice better? Other one is that I cracked. My voice cracked when I listened.
Yeah, there was a little bit of interference earlier. I don't know what that was from, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's it for us. I'm so excited. This chapter is good, and if we can do it for the podcast, and we can do the what they call the item,
right.
It will help a lot of people.
It will, and a lot of people, they listen to podcasts when they're out or traveling or running or walking, doing household chores, whatever other things, or even at work.
Yeah.
So
it will require them to be sit in front of the TV, and I think that I think that we are on the right track, and we just have to keep on moving.
That's right. I agree.
Okay, Jeremy. So, anything else that you want to talk to our viewer?
Oh, I think we've covered everything that I know of. I did want to. Let's see. One more thing.
Okay.
The quote from the Don't Quit chapter from Napoleon Hill is, willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair.
Thank you so much. And that is a great wrap for this episode, because it is how true that is.
Right. They do have to be woven together, and don't try to do one without the other, or it's just not going to work very well.
Just like you remember, just like the wheel, the car, you have to, you need to have it 4-wheel to run, and just like this one, you just cannot do with one of the missing car.
That's true.
So it is my pleasure, Jeremy, and thank you so much. And until next Wednesday, and I will see you. And there is a lot of things going on in the Periscope too.
Yes.
Alex Khan, he's talking about the troll control or something like that, and I think that you are the person concerning about those guys interfering to our.
Yes, I was excited to see what they're doing, and I'm hoping to be able to start testing that out too, because there are people that I rely on their scopes, and you don't want to have to even read what the trolls are saying. You want to stick to the people that are going to stick to the topic. So
because sometimes the tools are very distracting.
Can be.
And
Yes.
And we just need not to give them the time of our
You're
day
right.
because how else we can deliver the content if we just keep on stop and try to stop them or to
Gotta stay on message and stay on task, right?
That's correct. And that that's all. I don't say it easy, but that's why the daily remind ourselves of that,
right?
And the recommitment to ourselves. That what what we need to do, what we should do, and what we must do,
right.
And then to stay on that and to stay on track.
And then just do it.
Yes.
Put it simply, just do it, as Nike would say. So. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Ha. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week, and have a great week.
Okay. Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.